Today's story is about power, loyalty, and it's about fear. Reports claim that Venezuelan government have ordered the capture of anyone who is accused of helping the United States. Now, what does that really mean? Who decides what counts as help and what doesn't count as help? And what happens to the ordinary people when the state feels threatened? This is not just a story about Venezuela, it's a warning about how power reacts under pressure. Venezuela is a nation that has been rich in oil, culture, and history, but for years it has lived through deep political and economic crisis. Inflation, sanctions, contested elections, mass migrations, and millions of citizens have felt the weight of these realities every single day. The government led by Nicolas Maduro has consistently accused the United States of interfering in Venezuela's internal affairs. According to the officials, Washington supports opposition figures, imposes economic pressure, and seeks to influence the political outcomes in the Venezuelan government and their environment. Accusations of collaborations are explosive, they carry consequences, and sometimes they carry fear. When a government says it will pursue those who helped a foreign power and everything, it depends on how help is defined. In tightly controlled political systems, that definition can stretch and it can include sharing information, it can include speaking to foreign media, it can include receiving national funding, posting criticism online, and when definitions are vague, enforcement becomes unpredictable. Unpredictability creates silence. People began to censor themselves and they think twice before speaking, before posting, before trusting. This tension between Venezuela and the United States did not appear overnight, and it has roots that has been going back decades, especially since the early 2000s when leaders like the Hugo Chavez framed the US as an imperial force seeking control over Venezuela's sources and politics. The narrative continued under Nicolas Maduro. The United States, meanwhile, has accused Venezuela's leadership of undermining democracy, of violating human rights, and corruption of sanctions. And that became the main weapon. And also, the main justification was justification from pressure from abroad and justification from crackdowns at home. Every government claims the right to protect national security. That part is not unusual. Where the question is where protection ends and repression begins. Supporters of the Venezuelan government argue that no nation should tolerate foreign-backed destabilization. They point to history and past interventions, the regional memory. Critics argue something very different. They say these accusations are used to silence and desert. These courts lack independence and the arrests follow politics, not evidence. Both sides claim patriotism, but only one side controls the security forces. For ordinary citizens, this atmosphere changes daily lives. People ask themselves simple questions. Who can I talk to? What can I say? Will this be misunderstood? Fear doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it whispers. Journalists live and activists go. Quiet and families separate. Migration increases and the cost is human. International organizations warn about arbitrary detention and lack of process. About political prisoners, the Venezuelan government rejects these claims and it emphasizes on sovereignty, non-interference, which they accuse the United States of. The United States denies wrongdoing about the standoff and continues caught in the middle are civilians, people with no power, no leverage, only consequences under the international law. Espionage can be prosecuted, but only with clear evidence, transparent procedures, and independent courts. When political alignment becomes evidence, the law collapses into power. So what happens next? Possibly more arrests, more fear, more people leaving the country. Possibly louder and international criticism, or deeper isolation, or de-escalation, and it can be possible if there's trust, and trust is scarce. So this story is beyond Venezuela because of accusations of foreign loyalty that are not unique. They appear wherever governments feel cornered and whenever pressure rises, where control feels threatened, and when helping becomes a crime, silence becomes survival, and freedom doesn't disappear all at once. It fades slowly until one day it's gone. Stay informed, question every narrative, and remember, power always tells you it's acting for your protection.